And it is now this big task facing us, the occupation of the ground by human labor. The three human establishments are, first, the unity of agricultural exploitation, second, the linear industrial city, third, the radio-concentric tone for trade, ideas and government, that is exchange. And please note that since the beginning there were only two establishments, the agriculture and the exchange, and nothing for industry, because industry did not exist. The first industrial era began 100 years ago, and it was an age of chaos. The second industry era will be the era of harmony, and is only just beginning. The whole world is ready. Open the eyes and the ears, and all things are now fluid.
And what interesting that just came out by putting these one-to-one from the ground into the wall is that realizing how it seems to become smaller. The size of the rooms doesn't seem as big as it was, and that makes us curious why this happens. And my own thesis is because we are comparing. Now it's on a wall, it's in a vertical, so we'll be able to compare the size of the rooms against our own sense of self, our own sense of dimensions and skills of ourselves. And now we have a clear distinctions between us and the room to see. It's not made appear as big as it were when it was on the ground. That at the time we don't have any defined measurements or a sense of measurements to see the dimension and scale of the space.
So the way I'm handling the corner is basically two circles overlapping, and the overlap of the circles happens on the corner, and it's basically a reminder of a piece. It's a reminder of a piece I did way back in 1992, I think it was, or 91. And basically it was two circles, but in that instance it was actually it was a corner MDF, and it was two circles colliding, and the collision happens right in the corner, but it was actually a concave surface because it was the inside corner. This time it's going to be the outside corner, so it's like a sort of a secondary version of the first version. So basically I'm just testing. It's something I always wanted to do, and it's an opportunity to try out this two circles on the corner on a convex surface. So basically, the form is called a vesica Pisces. That's the kind of the correct term. It's not exactly as a vesica Pisces should be in terms of proportion, but it's that kind of language. The two circles colliding. It's got all these kind of different symbols. It's quite. It's as well as being sexual in nature. It's also religious. So it was a kind of symbol for Christianity. As much as, but it's basically the vesica Pisces is a way of describing the Trinity. I think I'm not 100% sure, but it's actually, it goes beyond. It's an ancient symbol, so that's why it's sort of very rich as a form. And you sort of see it in Carlos Scarpa's cemetery in Brion. And so it's kind of like an interesting kind of piece of geometry, I think.
just to conclude what Yolanda just said, it's actually two things that we're doing. First, we have to show what the hell it is on the wall, and then second, what it is on the wall. And hopefully we can achieve that by some captions or some other forms of indications. And that's what we're doing.
My research is like my feeling directed towards what is the principal value in the life, the poetry. Poetry is in the heart of man and is the capacity to go into the richness of nature. I am a visual man, a man working with eyes and hands, animated by plastic manifestations. All that makes true architecture, true painting.
So now we have our room in the scale of 1 to 1 display on the walls. It's basically in 3 pieces. There's a pieces on the left characterized by the fragile tape, and the other 2 pieces kind of joined together at the right. The left piece is Denise's room, like my room, the necklace space of it, and the space on the right is Yolanda's room. And the piece of space that's directly attaching to the ground is the space that we share. It technically belongs to Yolanda's bedroom, but at least I see that as an intermediate transitory rooms that I have to occupy, like the space I have to occupy in order to enter the common bathroom that we share. It's like a little shared space over there.
Facing a question, it's how do we tell people this is our room? Now, because it's all flat, are there anything in our room or any sort of hints that we can give people that this is our domestic space, our bedrooms? I'm thinking, just continue the conversation that we had last time, that Denise feels that her space is big enough for her because she only sleeps in her room. So I think for her it would be the bed that's identifying this bedroom. Also for me, because I have a very luxurious king size bed, very unnecessary. It takes up the whole area, which is blank right now in the middle. So I'm trying to think in a way that how I could put very minimum marks on, so I could let people know that this is my bedroom, the place I rest. And just to see the effect of the blank space now it's on the wall, it makes this room looks less like a room. The corridor or the space that we can move, the space I call the active space, doesn't really make sense because of this empty blank space in the middle. So it sort of emphasizes how important this blank space is to define the space that we created. Mm-hmm.